depending on that you can have maximum kinetic energy of the charged particle. Okay. Now what is the limitation of the cyclotron? What is the limitation of cyclotron? Whether the cyclotron will work well forever? So no, the answer is no. There is a limitation of cyclotron also. There is a limitation of linear accelerator also. We cannot use this cyclotron and linear accelerator just for anything, right? So what is the limitation actually? So we know that we have just seen the formula. What we have seen, the maximum kinetic energy is given by q square b square r square maximum divided by twice m. Okay. So actually what I am considering here, the m is constant, but if you see the velocity of the charged particle in this particular devices, if you consider the linear accelerator or you consider the cyclotron, the velocity acquired are not very small velocity. Actually whatever charged particle we use, these charged particles are nothing but the protons, electrons, etc. These are very minute charged particle, and they can travel with the speed like 10 raised to 7 meter per second, 10 raised to 8 meter per second, like this. Means not 3 into 10 raised to 8, but you can have a velocity like 2 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second, etc. So if you have very high velocity, okay, if the charged particle or any material particle is traveling with very high velocity or velocity is close to the velocity of light, then something will change. Okay, normal laws of physics will not work. There comes the theory of relativity, there comes the special theory of relativity, and according to special theory of relativity, in that case the mass of the particle will not be denoted by m, the normal sense of mass will not work here. Okay. Instead of that we have to use the another quantity which is called as relativistic mass, So m will be equal to m0 divided by 1 minus v square by c square. Now how this formula has arrived, that you will be able to learn in the second year. Okay. So under the topic of special theory of relativity you will be learning all of this, but I am just giving a glimpse of that, right? So when the particle velocity, you can easily see this formula here, this m0 is called as rest mass. M0 is called as a rest mass, and rest mass is exactly equal to the mass we consider. Okay. In this case this m0 is equal to m. Okay. But if the particles are moving with very high velocity to near velocity of the light, in that case if you see this v, if v is equal to c, then what will happen? C square divided by c square, that will be 1 minus 1, it will be 0, and therefore this m will be equal to infinity. And here this m is called as relativistic mass. Don't create an impression that the mass will increase to infinity. Okay. In most of the textbook it is written that mass is increasing, but actually theory of relativity does not tell us that the mass increases. Actually theory of relativity only tells us that instead of using a normal mass we have to use the relativistic mass. Okay. This is purely a mathematical term, not a physical entity, right? So this much we have to remember. Now if mass will be replaced by this particular factor, then what will be the changes in our device, that we have to see. So suppose that the time required by the charged particle to travel a semicircle, okay, because in every d the charged particle will trace a semicircle, it will not trace a full circle, it will only trace a semicircle, right? So let us consider that small t is the time to travel by a charged particle within a d and a semicircular path, right? So if you consider this, then what will be the value of t in terms of omega, where omega is called as the angular frequency. But angular frequency of what? Not of the RF signal voltage, angular frequency of the motion of the charged particle within the d's. Okay. So if I evaluate the quantity omega into t, so what will be the value of omega into t? We know that. What is the unit of omega? Omega unit is radian per second, and unit of this is second, unit of t is second. So second will get cancelled. The unit of omega into t will be of radian only, right? So what will be, how radian means what? It is the angular measurement. So how much path, how much angle is traced by the charge particle in time t? How much angle is traced by the charge particle in time t? So you can see that charge particle is traveling a semicircular path in time t. Okay, charge particle is traveling in a semicircular path in time t. So what is the angle of this semicircular path? Angle will be pi. Angle will be pi. So omega t will be equal to pi. So you can see that t is equal to pi by omega. How we can write the omega? Pi is equal to, omega means what? Omega is equal to V divided by R. V divided by R. So V into R. So if I am considering this equation for the outermost orbit, then radius will be maximum. Radius will be maximum and this velocity will also be maximum, right? Now t is equal to R max divided by pi into R max divided by V max. So how we can write pi into R max divided by V max? So instead of R, we know that this equation mv square divided by R is equal to q into V into B. V gets cancelled. R is equal to mv divided by q into B. So instead of R max pi, instead of R max I will write m into V max divided by q times B and 1 V max here. So V max will get cancelled. T is equal to pi m divided by q into B. Remember that whatever frequency we are applying, the frequency of RF signal generator, that frequency is constant. What I am evaluating what is the time required by the charge particle to travel this semicircular path. So the time required by the charge particle to travel a semicircular path will be given by this quantity. Now it will look that okay, this time will be constant forever, okay, because pi is constant, m is normally constant, q and b, these are all constant. But as I have already told you that m is constant only if the charge particle are moving with very small velocities. But in the case of cyclotron, in the case of linear accelerator, the charge particle will move with very high velocity, and in that high velocity the special theory of relativity should be taken into the picture, and according to the special theory of relativity, this mass will not be a constant in that case, right? We have to use a new kind of mass, that is a relativistic mass. So m will be equal to, m will be replaced by this thing, pi m0 divided by q into b under root of 1 minus v square by c square. Now you see, once I replace this m by this particular factor, now t has become the function of velocity. T has become the function of velocity. If velocity is more and more, time will be less and less. Time will be less and less means what? Or if time will be less and less, or what we can say alternatively, this time is related with the frequency of rotation of the charge particle. So if f is the frequency of rotation of the charge particle, then t will be equal to 1 upon f. 1 upon f will be equal to again pi m0 q into b divided 1 minus v square by c square, okay, and therefore f will be equal to q into b under root of 1 minus v square by c square divided by pi times m0. Remember that this m0 is called as the rest mass and it is a constant quantity. Now f has become the function of v square, and you will see that if v is more and more, this f will be less. Suppose that earlier value of f is suppose given by f dash, then if you calculate this new value of f, which is the function of velocity, then you will find that this f will be less than f dash. F will be less than f dash, means the frequency of rotation will be decreasing. Frequency of rotation will be decreasing means what? We were earlier saying that the same time t is required by all the charge particle to travel the semicircular path. So if the charge particle is traversing this semicircular path, then also the t is required. If the charge particle is traveling this semicircular path, then also time t only required, okay, because every time the velocity of the charge particle is increasing, and therefore the same time will be required by the charge particle, okay. But according to this equation tells me that frequency of rotation is decreasing. It means that every time this t is changing, this will be increasing. Okay, so charge particle, as you increase the velocity, charge particle will take longer and longer time to arrive at this particular position. So it may happen that charge particle has arrived up to this position only and the frequency has been changed. Okay, because for a smooth functioning, what should happen? Charge particle should arrive at this particular position, and then only the polarities of these two D's should be changed. Then only there will be the proper acceleration of the charge particle. But if the charge particle is taking longer and longer time to complete the semicircular path, it may happen that charge particle has completed the path up to this position only and the polarity has changed. So even if the polarity has changed, charge particle is well inside the D and there will be no proper acceleration on the charge particle, and therefore even if you apply the radio frequencies, the acceleration of the charge particle will not be there and there will not be any increase in the kinetic energy of the charge particle. So there are some limitations with which we can accelerate the charge particle using this cyclotron or using this linear accelerator. Okay, we cannot have large amount of energy, we cannot have large amount of velocity, and therefore we cannot have large amount of energy. So this is how the complete topic of cyclotron is there. Okay, so this is all about cyclotron. Now the last topic in this particular unit is discharge tube. Discharge tube. So there is only some qualitative explanation of this discharge tube, so I will not discuss much about this. Okay, you can read it from the text anywhere, right? So what is discharge tube? So if you see the tube light at our home, okay, the tube light, the mercury vapor lamp at our home, that is nothing but one kind of discharge tube. So discharge tube is nothing but it is made up with the help of glass tube whose length is more than that of the breadth, right? At both the ends there are some electrodes, okay, and between these electrodes very high tension battery is attached. High tension battery is attached, right? There will be some positive voltage, there will be some negative voltage, and between these electrodes actually there is some gas. We may fill mercury gas, we may fill any gas which we want to study, okay. And what is done? The voltage is increased gradually. The voltage will increase gradually. We will increase the voltage very gradually. And what is the different kind of lights that is emitted by this discharge tube, that will be studied, okay, and we will explain that how that different kind of light is emitted by the discharge tube, right? So what will be done? Actually when we apply some kind of voltage, then what will happen? Because there is some positive voltage here and there is some negative voltage here, there will be the existence of electric field, okay, there will be the existence of some electric field within this particular region, okay. Longitudinal electric field will exist there, we will say, right? And again all these molecules, these are the molecules of the gases, so they will consist of centrally positive charged nucleus and electrons will be revolving around the nucleus. So this is nothing but normal structure of the atom. But when there is a electric field within this particular area, the negative charge electron will be moving, means it will be polarized towards the positive terminal, and positive terminal, positively charged nucleus will be polarized towards the negative terminal. So this will slightly move towards right and this will slightly move towards left, and there will be some competition. There will be the competition between these two charges. This charge will try to move towards left side, right hand side, and this charge will try to move towards the positive terminal. As you increase the field again and again, as you increase the voltage again and again, what will happen? These charges will acquire sufficient energy so that the electron will be detached. The electron will be detached from this atom. It will be it will be treated as a free particle, and this positively charged ion will also be a free particle, and they will be traveling towards opposite terminals, okay. They will be traveling towards opposite terminal. Now during their motion, actually this particular situation may arise in different number of molecules or atoms, right, and number of free charges will be created. all these free charges will be moving towards their opposite nature polarity, okay, but during their motion they will encounter different molecules also. They will encounter different atoms, different molecules, they will collide with the atoms and molecules, and during the collision they will give their energy to the other molecule. The other molecule will absorb that particular energy, and again electron will be liberated from that particular atom or molecule, and we will get electron as a charged particle and positive ion as another charged entity, and again they will be traveling. So during this creation and migration of the charged particle in oppositely charged electrodes, there will be some emission of light, okay, and that emission of light is we have to study under the head of discharge tube, okay. So if you use the different type of gases, different types of light will be there. There are certain terminologies which you can read, right. So this is how we complete our this unit number 4 from the BSc second year semester 2. Remember that all this syllabus is strictly based on the Sant Gadge Baba Amravati University physics syllabus, right. So thank you.